or are you chill? Are you in a rush? Yeah, share something about your life, and I can start. This has been crazy weeks for me. Um, 2 weeks ago, an uncle died, and it was hard, but at the same time, I wanted um, to keep strong and to not like change my plans because of that. I feel that I am still in a mourning process and I am not partying here. But yeah, I am trying to make the best out of this experience, sharing with the people here in Amsterdam and also shouting out to this group that we have that is amazing. And yeah, it's been a mind blowing experience getting to know this city. Um, and always I am inviting people to DevCon, so I hope all of you also can come to DevCon uh, in October. And yeah, I'll pass to Septi that he's right with me.
Thank you, Juan. Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling great. Like I feel like there's a lot of events on Amsterdam, and when you are not going to one, like like you're missing something on the other, because you're not going. But yeah, trying to get the best out of it, and actually enjoying my stay. And I'm partying, not like Juan, but yeah. I'll pass it to Bear. Maybe we can mute so they don't get the background.
Yeah, for me, these last weeks and until like 2 weeks from now, it's been kind of crazy because it's the end of semester in college. So it's always so crazy with exams and like a lot of work articles that I need to write down and a lot of things. So it's been very crazy. And I found out that I can graduate um before the time that I was expecting, so that's awesome, and I'm so happy about it. But it's been crazy to trying to get everything ready, and yeah, I'm so excited, um and I'm excited about everybody that's in Amsterdam. I'm seeing like everybody's Twitter and stuff and the pictures. It's so cool. Um And yeah, I'm happy you guys are there enjoying your time. And I will pass it to Benz.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm doing well. Yeah, just kind of trying to balance everything, and I'm jealous of you guys in Amsterdam. It looks fun. Being able to see people in person is awesome. And yeah, other than that, I'm a little bit distracted with just upcoming stuff next week that I'm planning for. I have a friend coming out, and we're going to do some climbing in the Pacific Northwest. So hopefully the weather holds up. But that's my one distraction, other than you guys in Amsterdam. So I'll pass to Aloysius.
Thank you. I've been in a creative flow. That's what feels present. I'm really tired this morning because I was up until 2 o'clock in the morning working on a gallery. Sometimes I get really excited about putting NFT art in digital galleries, and I make like little rooms to walk around in. So like when I'm having a bad mood, I can pull open my phone and have like a room to like self-soothe in. So I was up really late making a new room, getting excited about that. Yeah, I can't say I have any distractions besides being pretty tired. Yeah, that's my check-in, and it is good to see y'all. All smiles and stuff over there. I'm gonna pass it to Morgan.
Hey, good morning, y'all. Just waking up over here. I am in the middle of a lot of transition in life. Aiming to try to secure housing, possibly trying to buy a home. The housing market in Tacoma and the Pacific Northwest is nuts. So definitely full around those plans, and also grateful to be here strategizing with you all. But shout out to Pacific Northwest. Would love to connect with you in person, Ben. And maybe I'll pass it to Vivi.
Thank you. Oh, hello. Look at this crew. I wish I was there too. Little bit of FOMO. But yeah, I'm also in a transition phase in life. I'm like kind of separating, moving to I don't know where, in a middle of not really having a home or finding a home, thinking where I want to be, what I want to do. And yeah, trying to balance all that emotional chaos with work. And it's been interesting, learning a lot. And yeah, that's what's present for me. It's a little bit cold where I am now, but it's sunny today, so it feels good. And I'll pass to Manu.
Thanks, Livy. Yeah, I woke up ill. I think I have typhoid, but I'm not gonna die, so I'm here. Yeah, and it feels better to be listening to all of you and seeing the progress than just being in bed. So um, yeah, and it really feels really good to watch Septi and Juanca and the crew over there, and Maffer as well, of course. Um, cool. I will. I don't know who's left. Are we? Is it John? Is it there?
I think only Maffer is missing. How are you,
So it's
Maffer?
just the
Check-in.
how am I really?
Yeah, how are you? Are you tired?
Yeah, kind of tired, but I am very sick with my asthma. I was yesterday like replanting, like rethinking about what am I doing here? Should I leave already because I still have to go to Vienna? Yeah, I was actually talking with Tam. I was like, I don't know, maybe this is not for me. But yeah, it's just I'm feeling better today, especially because I went out. I work a little bit. I saw the guys, and I talk a lot with Juan. But yeah, it's just my asthma being annoying since this is networking and you have to talk. And every time I try to talk to someone, I start coughing. Is annoying. It's just annoying. So that was a bummer. I was sad yesterday, but today has been a great day with the guys. I guess I pass it back to you.
Okay. Yeah. For today, I have two main topics that I want to share, and one is the third Graviton training study plan. I've been working on this. I think it's like on a 80% ready. So I appreciate that Livy and Morgan are here, so that you can please jump into this document. I put some content in your lessons from the things you've shared, but it would be really cool to have your okay on them. So yeah, we here have like an introduction of what the Graviton training is. We here have the link to the registration spreadsheet. As Morgan said, the 10th of May would be a good starting date. We thought of the 3rd of May, but we are still not ready. So I think that for the 10th of May we can start, and then we can end the 12th of July. The methodology, it's a little bit on what Durgadas worked of having a curation phase, a moderation phase, and a cross-pollination phase that helps like an iterative process for each training. And here are some of the expectations after the training. All this is copied from the past trainings. And yeah, I will send this link, even though it's in the Gravity channel, so that you can enter to it. It's just yeah, working on this is really important. I think to publish it maybe for the next days, for the first days of the next week. These are some notes. This can be taken away, but I was looking at these liberating structures Jeremy mentioned that is working out loud. Actually, we've met with Jeremy here, but he's in other room, and he's cooler in person than he is in camera, even though that he's super cool in camera. And yeah, this is the study plan. Durgadas has his session already ready. He will be talking about polarity wisdom, my stroke of insight from Jill Bolte Taylor, what is a deliberately developmental organization, how to not manage complexity, and a guide for Jungian shadow work. He will also be talking about his presentation about decolonization and I am the problem. Then I will talk about gravity deep dive, and Acid Laser and I have been working on this Graviton guide that is like a step-by-step guide for mediation in DAOs. And it's still, we are working on it, has some content that was already in some older slides, but also has some new content, and we'll still polishing it, like the ethical standards and requirements for Gravitons, voluntary process of determination, conflict of interest, competence, and confidentiality, impartiality, professional responsibility, and rotation. He is designing a path for the Gravitons that is like the entry point is the Graviton training. Then we get continued and participate in the continued education activities, and then you become an active Graviton. And once you become an active Graviton, or you acquire some role in Gravity, you are then able to mediate in conflicts with Gravity, or even to take that flag in other organization. This is the same that was repeated in the first document that I showed. What is expected for Gravitons to be able to do? A little bit of nonviolent communication, transformational approach of conflicts, creating a safe space, helping people to get to their optimal arousal zone, keeping a registry for transparency and accountability. And this is like the content that is brand new and is sharing this framework of the 4 P's of conflict analysis that are people, problem, process, and possible solutions. We are still working on this, and I received the feedback that it can be like more interactive. But the idea is that we will give the people, the Gravitons, these questions or this questionnaire that anyone without experience of managing a conflict can fill. Like for the category of people, who are the main and the secondary actors? What's the power relationship between the actors? what's the feeling of the actors in the conflict. And here's like a definition, like who and how many are the parties faced, involved, what are the institutions and play rules that have been used, what were the emotions triggered and needs at stake for the problem, what are the ingredients of the primordial soup, meaning like the context, the factors that enable the conflict, the faced arguments that are the central aspect of the dispute, the interests that are the desires and expectations, the reach of the conflict, that is the scale and the potential impact. Is there an acknowledgement of the conflict, meaning the recognition of the conflicting situation by the parties? My idea is that we can make this more like a worksheet, but that it would be good for people just to have this and maybe say, okay, I will feel this, and then you have the mapping of a conflict. And then for the other two pieces, the process, the triggering events and escalation dynamics, the facts that have marked the evolution of the conflict, the ways that the conflict have developed, the forms of the struggle, how has the conflict been managed, how is the communication between actors, who are the supportive third parties, what is the chronology of the conflict, the timeline and the time lapse of the situation, signals of possible escalation that can trigger an escalation conflict. Also, the comparative method, that is a comparison with similar conflicts and references, possible solutions, that has like exploring alternatives, how do you give legitimacy to the decisions, can we envision future scenarios, do we have mechanisms of implementation of the agreement, and also what are some of the short-term responses and the long-term transformative actions. This is like the framework we want to reproduce, the 4 Ps, and like people with this can just filling this form, they can make a good mapping of a situation. Then we also will facilitate like the observation form, that is the form that we use when we are interviewing the parties in caucuses. So we here like place like part X. The idea is that you copy this and you make a new document. This is the observation document, and we also have access to the mediation form that will be then moved once we are ready to unbreakable vows. So with this, everyone will be ready, or will be at least capable of making a mediation just by following this guide. That's something that we want to give to the Gravitons. All these other topics are, I have been talking about them since the first Graviton training, so I recycled some of these. Getting to yes in challenging times, mediation and mediation skills, reconciliation ritual of Ho'oponopono, and the latest Gravity Medium blog post. Also sharing a little bit of unbreakable vows. I met with Loie yesterday. I talked with her. She's a little bit like with her like availability almost occupied, but she said that she will participate. So I will be contacting her for her okay in this. But I recycled these 2 lectures from her last session. Also this video. And this other text that is building trust and resolving conflict. Then Jeremy made his homework, and we are ready with Jeremy, liberating structures. We will be going about some liberating structures, and something that we mentioned last call is using more this like way of proceeding, and it's like working out loud, not only like working for ourselves, but always like amplifying what we are doing, um, because we are doing something that is really cool, and people need to know about it. Um, then Lean will be talking about deep democracy. Also, Lean is here in Amsterdam. Um, she said that she will review this, so we are counting on her. But also, I will propose a deadline that if some people do not finish or give their okay for the content, at least for the start of the next week, maybe we can have some other facilitator taking that session, because we have also people who is willing to participate and facilitate a session, who is not being able to fit into this planned schedule. So yeah, if by the next week there's people who is not responding, we will might change some of the sessions from the people who is not responding. um, Ignacio is an organizational psychologist that we meet in the research of psychology that Bianca is doing, and he's super talented and also super experienced. I think he talks and he is really experienced in this Perma Framework, that is positive emotions, engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishment. That's Perma, and he will be talking to us about this. It's a psychological framework that it's very much used for organizational purposes. Um, but we also need his okay in this. Um, so there's something that I really don't like, but we might need to do, and it's like being on top of some of these people, and like remembering them, like, hey, please update your content. Morgan, that you are here. I took this video from a recommendation from Aloysius, and I know you were participating here. It's super interesting. I really liked it. I also took this anti-oppression and activism health, and some writing on body systems. But please feel free to add the content that you think it's important here. Please, if you don't like even the title, you have all the agency to work on this. Um, I also talked with D-Dan, and he said that he's okay with the session, that he will be preparing his talk about nonviolent communication. Also, like a small workshop. Um, so we are still like pending with him. The other person that we have, that would be like our spare tire, would be Manu, talking about leadership. Um, and for the 5th of July, we would have Levy. I also took some old lectures, like the summary of Ostrom's principles, the Web3 polycentric governance, dark side of leadership, some slides that were used for the first Graviton training. But also, Levy, please feel free to add, change, remove, whatever you feel. And then we will end up the 12th of July.
Yeah, on my session, I thought maybe now I'm realizing I wasn't clear, but I was suggesting that I would really like to listen to someone else speaking about culture. I feel like I occupied this spot for like, yeah, twice already, and I think I think it would be healthy to listen to someone else sharing what they think about culture and DAOs and how does that relate to conflict management. So I have some people to suggest, but I could also help making that bridge, or
Yeah,
I'm happy to give my spot to someone else, like you said, that there are people who want to be there.
that would be super cool. I spoke with Anna Marie, and she said she declined the invitation, but gracefully, because she said she has her plate full. But also, we have Manu here in this call, and he's willing to talk about leadership. So we can also talk about leadership and culture. And also, if you have another suggestion, please, we're open for it.
Yeah, I have a few other suggestions. I'll talk to them and see if that works.
Yeah,
And
perfect.
also, yeah, I think just in general, I have a how I how could we how could we frame the sessions based on the objectives we have for the Gravitons? Like, because I've been feeling I would love to hear more feedback from other people who participated in other trainings, but I feel like there is a gap between the knowledge people are receiving and how they feel able to put that in practice. And I think if we want to have more active Gravitons, would be important to think that in the structure and have each one of the people who are giving lectures thinking about how that can be translated into practicality, and how is this content helping this community to solve conflicts that are appearing. This is one criticism I had from the last two trainings, and feeling like still we don't have the engagement that we would like to have with Gravitons, and still having some issues of like, how are the conflicts going? What are some of the feedbacks? How can we create a place where people feel more confident? Like, what are the things we can share in the open or not? Anyways, there's like a lot of things, but I would like to have more people thinking about those too and hear more feedback.
Yeah, thanks, Livy. Thanks. Yeah, we will be working on this, and I would also like to hear Morgan, Bianca, Aloysius, Benz. How are you feeling about this?
I'd agree with Livy's sentiment. I think, yeah, if like each session could have at least some focus on like how that concept is applied, and kind of give, um, yeah, just some application in real, like how could you use this and to make what you're doing better, or make the groups you're participating in um, a little bit more cognizant of these things. And yeah.
I actually would love like something like the Gravitons. Also, like right now we have like, okay, we have the type form, but I would love like some proactiveness, like the Gravitons creating like, also Livy suggested like having like, I don't know like if it's a safe space, but I don't know like if like if Juan, for example, like, hey Seb, how are you? Are things great? I don't know, like creating this. I mean, I just say Juan because Juan, but Gravitons in general, like create this community that is reaching out to people. So like if they feel great or so, we can, because sometimes like we even can have little conflicts, and we don't even speak about them because we think they're so little that it's not worth even talking. Uh, but yeah, I think like if we create like this culture would benefit, and I think like we could have like one talk especially talking about that, and then how to do that. And I would love actually if the Graviton training would be like more like half of the training like theoretical, but then have like more practice. So people, when people is actually finalizing the Graviton, they feel like they're ready to do stuff.
Okay.
I know it's hard. It's super complicated, and I don't know if we can aim it for this now because it's so close. But like I would love like people feel like they can take on. I'm very strongly confident like they can. Like when someone ends a psychology degree, they feel so confident to go and talk to people and help with their mind and their problems. Like I would love like if gravity feel the same way.
As a mental health therapist for 10 years, you don't feel that way after you leave school. You're like, oh shit, I learned so much more that I didn't know existed. But I want to echo that, because conflict resolution is built off of relationships, like making sure that relatability and relationship building is like braided deeply into what we're up to. So I don't know if it could be that like every third session or every fourth session or some sort of frequency that it's a practice session mixed with every facilitator being really responsible for making sure that the last 15 to 20 minutes is an application of what we've put in there, or at least 20 minutes of our presentation, wherever we put it in, is practice. So like within mine, I know that I'll be landing it and around making sure folks are getting some onboarding for skills of paying attention to their own body and how their body reacts to the stimulus of potential conflict and what that brings up from your personal history and what that brings up because of your positionality and power position that you hold in any kind of dynamic relationally. But we're giving such dense, beautiful content that I know in some ways we've all probably spent years diving into and learning and integrating. And if we just like zoom through, it's going to be one other document that somebody has a tab open with. And what do we do to make sure that it like really actually lands? Because what we're giving is really cool. And I see Bianca.
Yeah, I agree with Levy, Ben, and Morgan in that topic about practice. I think it's very important. I was thinking of what we do in the practice group with Jeremy and Lean, because I think what we do there is so nice that like every time that we go, we learn about something that it's kind of like about conflict managing, about ourselves or like with somebody else. And then we have like the first part of the practice group, it's about learning about that topic. And then the second part, it's putting that in practice. And then we divide into small groups. So maybe we can do that in the sessions, or we can have like 2 sessions at like that week. So the first session, will be like 1 hour learning about that theory or what that thing is about, and then like on Tuesday or Thursday, we will be putting that in practice. Maybe we could have like 2 sessions of the training for the week instead of just 1. Then we could put that more. We'll get more into it and not just listening to it, I feel like.
Okay, yeah. Well, some things that I'm thinking. I liked the what Morgan said about having a practice every 3 sessions. I more or less like tried it. I placed Jeremy on the 4th session, but I think that he can be then in the 3rd session, and maybe we can have Lowy in the 4th session also, taking into account that Lowy is much like occupied, so that way we can have her more time to prepare. And also I wanted this session of DDAN to be a practice, the 8th session, but yeah, I have been having a little bit of trouble communicating with him. So it would be important to decide if this session or if this facilitation is still going, or if we can count on Manu to save us. And for Livy, yes, Livy, please feel free to comment those suggestions. Also, if you can help us to reach out to those people, to invite them, it would be amazing. And I had a role play for the final session, but maybe it would be good if I made that role play like in one of these sessions, maybe swapping some spot. And what I wanted to do in this role play was to design a series of small conflicts that we have had in Gravity, and have the Gravitons and the people participating role playing those situations. It will be like yes, small things, or the things that we have already managed, so that they are really like connected to what we are doing. So yeah, this of the role play would be then better to be done not on the last session, but maybe more on the core. And also this of having 15 to 20 minutes of practice, it's also a really cool idea.
I had a question too. Thinking about, I mean, we're hosting up to 80, right?
80 POAPs. Yeah.
Right, yeah. A curiosity I had too in looking through the layout is what we can do to like build a culture of inclusion from the first session. And looking at the first session being so content heavy, I don't know how we're going to be able to do that. And I'm curious whether or not we could set up the first session as like a landing, where we actually, because of Zoom, we could probably do breakout rooms for folks to be able to get to know one another, whether we do it by region or by topic of interest. Having 80 people talk in an hour is impossible. But we can figure out a way for folks to be able to at least start to land in pods. I don't think I would have stuck with Gravity had I not been as close as I was to Aloysius, because we already share community and family up here in the Pacific Northwest. So I'm thinking, what are ways that we can like really make those like, you know, vínculos, how do you say those, the like links and attachments, and stronger relationships from the beginning. So could the first session be like getting to know one another, and then we do content number 2?
Let's do that. I think that one of the
I see Levi has their hand up.
Sorry, Libby. Sorry.
Oh, no problem. No, I think what I'm feeling that could help a lot is having a sense of unity of the whole course. So it feels like the sessions are a bit random and not so interconnected with each other in a way that there is a flow. Thinking on like how will people arrive to the first session, and then how they will carry up to the second session, and perhaps have groups that could be formed, and that would help what Morgan is talking about, to have a sense of unity. So maybe there could be teams that have already maybe similar expertises, or I think it would actually be super helpful to have a sign up for the training, and then we could gather some information of the people who are joining in advance, and then we could offer them a better space for them to land, instead of being like super open. It doesn't feel like there's so much commitment, and then we don't know who we are talking to. Yeah, Benz.
Sorry, you could have kept going. I was just gonna say, yeah, like something like kind of having groups within that way you maybe like there's like a session and then a shorter like half-hour discussion or something, where like just a smaller group like talks about what was discussed, and then there's like it's it's still open, but it's like you're developing kind of a group that's consistent over these sessions, so there's a little more like check in with those people, and you kind of get to know and apply things. Because I do think it's really hard to, if you have no relationship with people, it's hard to like use some of these things, you know?
So
Yeah,
really,
because sorry. No, I think the format we're having now is more of like lectures. It would almost be more like a seminar for conflict mediation. But if we're thinking about a training, like a course, I think is important to look at this wholesome perspective and then have everyone who is mentoring integrated with one another, knowing like that we're speaking in a similar language, or what are the languages we're speaking about, and then with the people joining, like understanding maybe we need an hour and a half, maybe we need an intro in the beginning where maybe we need breakout rooms. Like, what are the things we could use to achieve the objectives we want to achieve? How can we put together all the mentors to brainstorm on that? And maybe maybe it's not so soon, you know, maybe this preparation needs a little bit more attention, and then opening a form for people who want to sign up, and then from like seeing who are the people interested, also preparing a little bit more the interactive part of the sessions, having that in mind.
okay, thank you so much. That's amazing. Um, I like this idea of making teams from similar expertises or DAOs. I know that we will be having people in this training from Aragon, and we will be having people from Gitcoin and other communities, and it would be super cool to like having these teams um, that they can sync within the trainings and after the trainings. So yeah, I want to also take into account that Durgadas is here. Hey Durgadas, how are you?
Good.
Okay. Uh,
Looks
we
like
were
you got
thinking.
past my thing already.
Yeah. I was actually going to ask you, how would you feel about Lean taking the first session for making an inclusive welcome, and your session that is more content heavy maybe can go after the first session, so that people can feel like more included before facing.
Sure.
Yeah. Do you agree with that? Okay, perfect. Then we will swap your session with Lean's. Lean, I feel she's one of the people that have made a lot of these inclusive welcomes. I know she does it for the practice groups, and it would be good to also have some contextualization and like getting to know people. Getting to know people.
Can I hear words for a bit, Juan?
Yeah.
Something I'm thinking about and hearing all this, because I've talked about the integration piece from like reflecting from the last time, how it was just kind of like, yeah, sure, like that. There's a couple of things that I took away from that is one, it wasn't.
I cannot understand well. I don't know if it's me. I will
Yeah.
mute.
Aloysius, you're really breaking up.
Am I? Darn it. Is it any better? Okay.
It's better.
Okay. I won't move. uh,
I noticed that we can leave people behind. Like, I think things that would be helpful, two things are like, one, if we all had the options to have screens and see each other and there was choice in whether screens were on or off, and there can be an opening for that. So like that's like part of the container opening and setting and like building the energy of consent and choice. And then offering things like we use hand signals in source credit, and I love these. I'll like say them everywhere. Like they help me so much. But then you can have people looking around for other people, putting up hand signals to see if anybody else is like. So then we're learning like co-regulating skills on digital spaces. We can be telling people to be like putting questions in the chat if they have them, and then someone could be monitoring them. Like these are like soft skills in conflict and in digital spaces that we could be working in to like integrate that piece. Yeah, that's just kind of what I'm thinking.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. This is really useful. Amazing.
I think it would be really interesting to see like a whole, maybe not this one because we're really close, but just on that sort of thing in digital spaces, because that's something I'm not super familiar with. And like, I think it's going to become more of the default for more and more people, like, so that's something I'm really interested in.
Kind of like digital group facilitation.
Mm-hmm.
Co-regulation magic. Vibes checking.
Lean.
Aloe, I feel like you and I could ping pong on that pretty solid. Anybody else who really likes that stuff, like that could be part of maybe the mixture of the first session. Like the how, like how we're gonna do this whole 10 weeks, because we're taking on a lot together by saying like we're gonna be one of the main resources for conflict resolution in all of Web3. You know what we're asking to invite into this space? Like we're asking for a lot. So how are we showing folks that we can hold a container that can actually hold it? And what are we doing to be mindful about building those structures from the get? Yeah, and Aloe, I don't know if you were around last session to listen into the fact that we're switching over to Zoom, so we do have video option on. So we're going to have technology to support.
Well, yeah, this is amazing. This is amazing. And really, I have been trying to give like a push on time, but it would be better, tons better, if we focus on the quality than on the rush. So yeah, maybe this can extend even later from the 10th of May. So let's keep working on this. And maybe next week we can have like a more polished thing. Also, I will try, and all Bianca and all the people who is supporting, please let's try to make next Wednesday meeting one that we can have all the facilitators coming to the call and saying if they one are committed to that, and two, yeah, to make use of this sense making to really align all the classes and all so that they belong together. I don't know, maybe for me, as I am too much deeply like in this, I see all super connected, but I can understand that someone who is maybe from another point of view can see it, that things don't uh, appear to be separated one from each other.
Has it been advertised anywhere that we're starting in May? Or is it just that we know internally? Cool.
Well,
Yeah,
I think
we only said soon.
Aragon found a way to get into TEC, and they have the link, and they public on the Umbrella Academy, the not Umbrella Academy, the Umbrella team. So
Yeah, that's the other thing that I have been having some syncs with them, with the people of Aragon. They are having meetings on Tuesdays, and it would be really cool. And I always talk about that we are a team, and to have more people joining some of those calls. I feel that I don't want to be like the visible face of Gravity. I feel all of you are in the same, have the same agency and ownership of the project. So it would be really cool to have some support also in those calls. With the Aragon team, they are designing a flyer because they want their community to participate in our Graviton training. The same with Gitcoin. But yeah, until now, all dates are not like rock solid. And I have been like dates, and I will try to shift my mind into quality and a good training. So yeah, let's keep working on this. Also, all of you feel free to comment, to add, to remove. If you feel like someone is good for leading a session, yeah, also help us. I also accept and appreciate the suggestion of Livy for having someone to talk about culture.
Do you need any other spots filled, or do we feel like we have enough? That Steven person who introduced himself, I talked to maybe a month or so ago. He might be able to do like a circling thing if we needed another spot. I just wanted to offer that if it's something we want to look into.
Yeah, let's do this. There are some facilitators that like Ignacio that I would like him to participate because I really think that his session would be amazing. But he's not so much in the loop. So yeah, if he is not like confirming, yeah, we will have to have these people who is like very well prepared and willing to facilitate.
Yeah, I mean, he teaches that for the monastic academy on Fridays. So I think he might be someone on short notice that might be valuable to have as a contact.
Okay, yeah.
I can talk to him.
I also want to say that I'm really proud of the work that you all are doing. I feel that the group is growing. Hey Tonga, how are you? So long without seeing you. This is amazing. Welcome to this call. We are coordinating for third Graviton training.
Hello. I don't know who muted me. It was in the last call. But thank you for unmuting me. I'm just getting back into the computer, basically. So I plan on going to a few of the calls or many of them from these days to see where I can fit. You know, I had a call with Manu yesterday, and he told me to do a few things of.
Thank you. Welcome.
There is a few issues, but they are 1 year ago, from 1 year ago. So we were talking, and I want to see a bit better what this is doing now. before getting to doing that deeply, because maybe it's not that useful, or maybe it's already. From what I read, quickly, it seems like it's already good. So I don't know, but it's a pleasure to see you all back.
Yeah, great to have you here. And I was just saying, yeah, that we are in the last minutes of the call. Also, to open the mic if someone wants to say something else. But that I'm really proud of the work that we are doing, and also that I think that we will be struggling, and it's something that we will have to normalize. Um, the fast growing that we may have, because like everyone that we speak to, and we explain about conflict management, everyone says, hey, I need that, and I don't have it. So maybe we should also have to question ourselves, like, how much do we want to have in our hands? Because if we grab too much, we will not be able to squeeze. So it would be better to like have 2 or 3 communities that we can test and continue polish our processes before like opening, but that there's always that huge open field that we have, because there's few people working on what we're doing right now.
Yeah, congratulations, because if Aragon is going to take your services, it's like high level. I
Thank you. Yeah, I think that if we do a good iteration with them, then that would be a good window for other communities, and also for us to like have more confidence in and in our offering. But it also came like when we were not still ready, so it was like a little bit pushed. No, pushed. Like we weren't mature enough, and we took the fruit, and we offered the fruit, and it was a little bit ripe, or ripe is maduro. Well, it was a little bit green, um, and we now have to like get the fruit ready once we are offering it. So yeah, it's an uncomfortable position, but we will sort it out.
Nice.
Well, that's what I wanted to share with you in this call. Once again, I really appreciate all of you. Thanks for your time, for your feedback, for your collaboration. Let's continue working on this. I really appreciate everything that you're doing, and I hope also that you feel good with me. And if there's something that I can improve, please feel free to talk with me. This is what we do, and we are all the same. So yeah, just saying that I love you, thank you, I'm sorry, and I forgive you, and forgive me for anything, and that we are building, and that's my intention, long-lasting relationships, trustful and respectful relationships. Okay. See you later. Love you. See you.
Thank you for all the hard work y'all putting in.
Thanks.
Take good care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you later.
Ciao.